I got to do this, man. I got to get my, I got to get my Garmin, if it didn't record on Garmin, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen, so all of those things. And I remember that I was in the water after doing the 2,000 yards, and I said, click, turn off.
Good.
I said, I'm going to enjoy this, right?
Yeah. We are ready, everyone. Ironman Beyond. Awesome. Today's Tuesday, and as usual, we have our live interview, this time with one of our athletes who came from, wow, I don't know where to start. Well, let me introduce Steve Falcon. So today, yes, there you go. Today we'll get a chance to talk to Steve and to see how he even gets started with the sport itself, because you'll hear how he started. But right now he's a triathlete who 3 years ago, I'm not sure even, was it 3 years ago, Steve, that you got into a motorcycle accident? Was that right?
No. That was some time ago. That was in 2009. That was the motorcycle accident.
Yeah,
but it shaped my thought process.
Sure.
From 2009 all the way up to the point where I started actually getting into cycling.
The sport itself. Yeah. So before the long time ago, more of an ancient Steve. Well, he was motorcycling a lot, doing a lot of with the band also, right, Steve?
Right.
And he got into an accident, which is a motorcycle accident, which is really, really unfortunate, wherein the doctor had to rebuild his foot. And then during that time, he actually, until now, he has a plate and 9 screws in his foot. He spent during when he had an accident, he had to spend 6 months in the hospital. And I was talking about this one to him, like I could not imagine 6 months in the hospital. And then after that, it wasn't like immediately go back to the regular active, or at least going back to work. He actually had to stay in bed for about 3 months, and he had to relearn how to walk. So that's how he was. Besides that, he also and then the chronological might be kind of like mixed up, but you were overweight then, right, Steve?
Most definitely.
What was the weight?
Close to 250.
250, and now where you're at?
I'm at 172 right now.
All right, you don't have to reveal everything. Yeah. But yeah, so that's like 70 pounds difference. And so he started from 250 overweight, doing motorcycle, and also he has a band, and there you go. And then relearning how to walk. And then suddenly, when I met him, he basically wants to do double century ride. At the time, he was already doing century rides, and he had lost some weight. When you reach out to me, Steve, let's start from why did you want to do double century? And I believe that was 2017.
2017, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So because for a lot of people who's actually doing, aiming for century, double century is like out of the world. It's basically 200 miles in one day. That's what he was aiming for back in 2017. So what made you actually think about that, Steve? Was it friends or just you?
No. Definitely it was friends. It was the leader of my writing group, which in 2017, I had joined a writing group because prior to that, as you mentioned, I was all about the motorcycle life, more specifically the Harley life. By the way, this is COVID hair, by the way. But before, I used to have hair down to my waist, leather, chaps, the whole bit, right? That was the Harley lifestyle. Harley lifestyle is all about drinking beer, smoking cigars, and riding your motorcycle.
And a rock star too, because you're what?
Also,
The
I
drum?
had my band. I was in 3 different projects. I had my own band called Midlife Crisis LA,
Yeah.
and then that was a rock band. And then I was in 2 other projects, playing different instruments. So, and in my band, I sang and played an instrument. So that was my life. I was, in bars, obviously playing music, festivals, playing music, and then living the Harley lifestyle. So 250, as far as poundage is concerned, I mean, that was my life. I had a big life-changing event, and I'm not going to go into the whole details of that life-changing event. But in 2017, I said, you know what? I can either decide to go right here. This is what I know, or I can go this way and try something different. A neighbor of mine said, "Hey, why don't you try cycling? I see that you take out your bike here and there." I said, "Yeah, I think the last time I took out my bike was about 9 months ago." And I ran right around the corner, and I was like exhausted. I'm like, this ain't for me. So I told him, sure, why not? So he referred me to a writing group, literally right down the street from my house.
Cool.
It's through this writing group, which is, shout out to my boys and ladies at Montebello Bicycling Coalition, or MBC. It's through this writing group that I was able to develop not only, writing partners, but also friends that are friends today, till today. And really, that's where it kind of started. As far as, I remember my very first bicycle ride to downtown LA and back, from Montebello to downtown LA and back. I could not even keep up. I was way in the back. It was one of those things where my heart was pounding out of my chest. So, but you have to start somewhere, and little by little, right? 12 miles turned into 20 miles, turned into 50 miles. 50 miles turned into 100 miles, right? And then the leader of our group, Gilbert, said, "Hey, I want to do this thing called the California Triple Crown." It's like, what is that? "Oh, that's 200 miles in one day." Like, you're crazy. I'm never going to do 200 miles on a bicycle in one day. He said, no, it can be done. We have to train for it, but it can be done. And so I was still very skeptical about it. So I reached out to you at that point in time and said, "I need help." Well, that's where it started.
There you go. When we started, we met at the cafe, but there were a lot of different steps of what we had to go through, actually, because at the time you even told me, not even when we were training for triathlon, you already told me, "Coach, I cannot run. I can only do elliptical," and which is true.
Very true. Yeah.
When I first saw you run, okay, that's okay. We're just gonna focus on cycling anyways. And you also told me that your ankle would swell up big time, and
Like
it's about
Yep.
and I saw it actually during the swim last weekend, and it's about 1.5 size of the other ankle.
Correct.
So I know you had to do a lot of different things to actually adjust on that in terms of your shoes, the way you actually bike, and you have gone through that. And other than that, in terms of the swimming, you started from zero. Also,
the last time I swam was in high school.
Yeah, that was only 10 years ago. No, sorry.
10 years ago.
Yeah, so high school, never, and then the running portion also. Have you ever thought that you'd run at all? You just kind of jog, right? Or walk?
No, the last time I ran, I think, an enchilada was involved, or, I was running to get some fast food or something. But no, actually running, probably in high school again, when I was on the wrestling team. That was the last time I ran. That was the last time.
Okay. Was that more of one of the things that's one mindset block as well? Have you ever thought hey, can I actually run during those times?
You know what? For the longest time, I had no interest whatsoever in running. or exercise, competitive exercise to even say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to enter this race, or I'm going to do, no. And that was never in my thought process. My thought process was, you know, rock out. My thought process was, you know, let's go for a ride. And really for me, the mindset was very different. Mindset for me was, no, you know what? I know I can't run. And the accident that happened even fortified that block, mental block, really, of me not even saying, no, there's absolutely no way. You know, I have 2 plates. They completely reconstructed my left foot and ankle. You know, there were 19 screws in total. They reconstructed all of this front area of my feet, left foot. And you know, they took muscle from my lower abdomen, skin from my inner thigh, and they reconstructed my ankle. I'm very grateful to this day. I thank God for the fact that I'm here. You know, so really every single step that I take, I acknowledge the fact that, you know, it could have gone even worse. You know, I lost a really good friend that day, you know, during that motorcycle accident. And the reality was, that's where I was heading, you know, because, you know, and I see it as that turning point in my life was a reality check. And the reality check was, Steve, you got to change your mindset. And really your mindset is, okay, you can do things, but really there's only a certain amount of mindset that you're able to push yourself to become aware of, right? The rest of it, you say, no, you know what? I can't do that. Because why? Because I have 19 screws and 2 plates in my leg and my foot. And so I always just put it out of my mind. Said, nope, I ain't running.
Yeah.
So
you don't even want to think about it, or don't even want to try it, or you know, you probably would know, you probably can run, but it's just this one thing, you know, I'll just stick with my bike, right? I'm okay with my bike. I'm doing great with my bike, but you still went for triathlon. And I was happy and at the same time surprised, because I'm like, whoa, Steve. Because the thing is that, I mean, well, before we even go to triathlon, because at the same time, I don't want to miss out what are the things that you've learned actually when we went to the double century first, because that's already big for a lot of people, especially for you, from century to double century. What are the things that you've learned just the double century rides, you know, during the coaching, during the training? You're like, I'm laughing, you know, during the training, just, I still remember the details. Well, a lot of them, but actually, let me just show what are the things that I did post this one, but for some people have not seen it, because before he did not really have a trainer. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but this
is correct. You were my first trainer, period.
Well, also the spin bike.
The trainer that my mama bought me when I was a kid.
Right, right. So this was actually what I'm showing here is him doing his first century on a spin bike.
Oh, that was crazy.
Because it was raining and he was like kind of like 5 hours on a spin bike at the gym at the time. No Zwift, no Netflix, and he did it. And how many times? And this was one of the things that you had to do, or just had to do, because it was raining, and you need 3 times. So what, you know, those are some hardcore training. I mean, and just tell us, like, what are the maybe 2 or 3 things that you've learned during when you were training for double century rides? Because I know it's not just about training, right? Or
no, you know what? And when I mentioned to you that you were my very first person as far as any formal training whatsoever, as far as exercise is concerned, right? My biggest thing is you told me this is what you're going to do. And oh, and by the way, this thing called Training Peaks, this is where you're going to document. I hated every single minute of having to go. Why do I have to input this? So I fought you all the way. completely. You probably never even knew about that.
Yeah, let me show to everyone the Training Peaks if you don't mind, just so people can actually relate to it. So Training Peaks, some of them are red, some of them are green. So let me just show you. The Training Peaks is basically a calendar of workouts that I assign to athletes. So at least they get more focused to what they need to do for that day. And I know it's colorful, but basically the red is what he did not complete or he did not update, but the green ones are the check marks, the good stuff, wherein he's doing really well. So that actually helps the athlete focus more because it's a structured training, workouts training plan. So go ahead, now that they know about Training Peaks that you used to not to dislike or even
so I fought you every single step of the way. So, but there was a part of my mind that kept saying, you need to change. You need to accept this. You need to, obviously she knows what she's doing. She's got, you know, a lot more experience than you do in this point. So trust the process, right? So it was a constant battle of the mind for me. Orale, man, I can do this myself, right? Versus, okay, trust it, trust the process, keep going. And there's this little dark thing in us, you know, it's really deep down inside that tells you, you gotta push forward. You gotta, so really the second thing, you know, first thing is fight you all the way, right? On the training, as far as documentation. All I wanted you to tell me is, okay, do this and let me know that you got it done. All right, well, but there was an accountability aspect of it. And so I was not used to sharing accountability with anybody, really. I am an only child, okay? I don't have, you know, anybody that, it really, as far as exercising is concerned, that's something that for me was an issue of, you know, hey, you know,
let me do my thing, leave me alone.
You know, I'll get it done, but no. So the second thing I learned from that whole training part was really the fact that you have to trust the process. You really do. And because if you don't, then you're lost. And I know I was lost, you know, at a certain point. So that was the second thing. And then the last thing was the discipline. And the discipline that involves you having to change everything in the way that you think. Because if you don't, then it's not going to work. And really, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm motivated, man, I want to do this, right? But really, it involves work. It's hard work. And if you're not willing to put in the hard work, then what are you doing, right? And so at a certain point in time, I said to myself, okay, I got to put in the hard work. I got to do 100 miles on this thing, right? It's inside the gym. On a spin bike with no TV. And I mean, I literally was sitting there looking at myself in the mirror. Alone, exactly. So, but at the same time, you know what? I think it helped me. It helped me understand, you know, not necessarily the fact that, okay, you're doing 100 miles on a stationary bike, right? That's what it is right there and then. But it needed to be done. So I needed to be able to say, all right, get it done, however means possible. Right? And I didn't used to think that way. So that third part of learning the discipline that it takes, right? And I'm not going to tell you that I you know, learning discipline has fixed everything. On the contrary, you know, because you and I both did a double century where you told me on a Thursday, hey, let's do this double century on Saturday. I'm like, sure, why not? You know, I was
will
like,
remember.
I was like the movie Yes Man from Jim Carrey, right? In this movie, Jim Carrey, you have to say yes. You have to say yes to everything. And part of that, I'm the same way.
Yes.
You know what? If it's positive, if it's something that's positive, or at least I think it's positive, I'm like, hey man, I'm all in. Sign me up, because we're going to talk about that in a little while.
Yeah,
because my triathlon journey starts with, yes. So, really at that point, it was like, okay, I can do this, right? I can do these doubles. But that didn't necessarily mean that I didn't make mistakes, because that time that you asked me to do a double century with 3 days preparation, really no day preparation, because I just said, okay, let's do it. And you saw me gloriously bonk that day, because no nutrition, no sleep. I got to bed like at 11:30 the night before, and got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go and drive to Palmdale to be there at 3:30 in the morning. So when my point is, a discipline doesn't necessarily always mean that there's going to be smooth sailing ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you shared that. It will always be a story to tell. Yes, ma'am. Well, actually saying yes is a big thing already. Others would just say no, or even ignore it, or in denial that they got to do something, right? So
Right.
At least saying yes is a good start. But what I like about everything that you've actually said, discipline, trusting the process, okay,
Right.
and accountability, those are very, very critical in training. I wanted to say hi to everyone who's actually watching. Carlos, Fanny, Memo, Raul, and Denise. Welcome, everyone. Emma too. So if you guys are watching this one live, just hashtag live or replay, hashtag replay. Glad to have everyone here. So hopefully you guys are catching everything that Steve's saying. Sometimes it's good reminder. And sometimes we already know about it, but it's also good to actually have someone to actually share his experience and his learnings during the process. In terms of, let me see. So you've learned about just saying yes and being disciplined. So now you've had a great time in completing double century after that with coaching with me. You've learned a lot and actually built a lot more friendship with a lot of people in the cycling community. I think that's about 2 or 3 years that you're like happy go cycling.
Love it.
And then the next thing is that
that's my happy spot, or my happy place.
There you go. It was just last year. Suddenly, hey Tunita, welcome Tunita. Having you join the Beyond Myself project, where you actually volunteer. Again, I really appreciate everything that you've actually put in, but at the same time it seems like it actually also benefited you, because I don't know if it benefited you, but I think it did, because suddenly your mindset start wondering about triathlon.
Yep.
Tell me what happened. What went wrong or what went well? But tell me, when did it start that thought maybe I could do a triathlon? What month or what? Yeah, tell us.
Well, let me tell you, the whole triathlon thing, it was never in my mind. It really wasn't, right? It was a whole issue of like being vegan, right? I've been vegan now for a little over 3 years, maybe, or 2 years. I don't know. Time just goes by. People say, do you miss carne asada? I'm like, of course I miss carne asada. No, just kidding. But, so, I had the same mindset of being vegan. It's like, once people started telling me, hey man, I'm vegan. I was like, hey dude, I'm glad that you chose that. That's for you. That works for you. Just don't take away my, my bacon, right? That was my mindset. Well, triathlon was never in my frame of thought. I was like, hey, those guys over there, they're just so intense. I just want to continue to do my double centuries and, and do other adventures, right? Like cycle from San Diego to the Grand Canyon, Monica Busby. So, I mean, things like that, adventures, right? I already had plans on doing the the Camino de Santiago in Spain, right? On a bike. And just doing a lot of things on the
Yes,
bike.
travel.
And really, that was the only thing. And it was like this.
Yes.
But coming into Beyond Myself project, I, was there witnessing, obviously, your day to day. I mean, if I would have volunteered maybe once or twice, right? Okay, yeah, this nice lady, she's doing some, great things.
Nice, crazy lady.
I saw the ups and downs that was that journey that you took, right? I was there at 4 o'clock in the morning, when the water was super cold,
Dark.
and super dark, and it's
Sometimes
like, wow,
windy.
why would this woman put herself through this, right? I would be there for the bike, I would be there for the run, and I just said, that's crazy. They're just come on. I mean, really, in essence, but something in the back of my head right here said, it's possible. Steve, it's possible. If she could do it, then I can do it. Then you can do it. And I say you, whoever's listening, whoever is watching, there is no limit. There really isn't. It's all here. It's all mindset. And really, and I will tell you, yes, man, that was a yes, man moment. Steve, I'll do St. George if you do St. George with me. Monica Busby. Okay, sure, why not? And that's when I realized, you know what? I understand that I can do so much more. We as individuals stop at a certain point, okay? Because we say, this is it for me, man. I can't do anything more. I'm at 70% and I haven't done 100%. You know what? There's a lot more that you can do. So I remember whenever I made that decision, because I didn't make it until later, all right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't until after I ran with you, that last day of Beyond Myself. I ran with you and I almost fell over because it was a very emotional part for me, because I only lasted what it seemed, hours. It was literally like maybe 5 minutes. I couldn't even keep up. I was at 15-minute pace, probably either that or an 18-minute pace. My heart was pounding out of my chest and I couldn't even keep up, right? But I was happy.
Yeah, you were running.
The reason why I was happy was I was running.
Yes, you were moving forward with your two legs.
I said, I can do this. I can do this. Get it out of your mind, Steve, that you cannot run.
Yes.
Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. But you know what? I can run. And that revelation there to me said, I'm built for so much more.
Good. I
am built for so much more when it comes to, and it's funny because you know what I say, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now, because really, I really am, it's a really interesting transformation, because really it's brought me so much happiness just to understand that this is the beginning of yet another journey.
Yep.
Right? Triathlon.
It opened up a new chapter that you
right.
never thought it's there even in the first place.
Right, exactly. I remember that you had a clinic back in 2019 before COVID.
Yeah.
The swim clinic. And I remember, we were at the Long Beach, the Belmont Pool. And I believe, is that a 50 meter?
Yeah, 50 meter.
Okay, so it's a 50-meter lane. So I remember you saying to everybody that was there that day, hey, you know what? Go ahead and take a warm-up lap. We're gonna start in 5 minutes. All right, cool, man. Let's do that. So again, I haven't swam since high school. That was back in the, 80s. So at that point in time, I said, okay, let's do this. I'm swimming, I'm good. And I'm literally out of breath. I'm going,
Yeah.
oh my God, I must be at the end of the pool by now. I pop up.
Halfway. Not even halfway.
Not even halfway.
Just stay here, Steve. Don't go too far.
I'm grabbing the side of the pool going, I can do this. So
that's amazing.
That was funny for me. But you know what? It inspired me. I said, you know what? I can do so much more. I really can. If I employ just a fraction of the amount of effort that I put in my double centuries, then by all means, this is what this is. It's wide open. Yeah. So triathlon came into, and I didn't even really consider myself a triathlete because I said, I got to do my first race first, right? To be able to be called a triathlete. But you know what? Even though I have not done my first race is right around the corner, and I'm super excited about it. I feel I'm already there.
Oh yeah.
I am a triathlete because it's a mindset, and it's a mindset that I had to overcome. You're right. I had to overcome obstacles. But now, guess what? I'm like this. Yep. This is me now, and for me, that goal, that vision, has brought me into a whole nother level of appreciation. It really has.
Yep. Actually, I still remember going back to the story that you were saying to me about the run. I still remember when you were running and I was happy at the same time. And I know it must be like a struggle for you, but just to see you just trying was a great thing to me already. So that was good. And I suggest that you keep all these memories, even the struggle where you started, to yourself, because you will be able to use that in other areas. Just so, for example, how you use your double century experience. You know where you're at and you were able to overcome it. And then now you're using the same concept or mindset on your triathlon, wherein, hey, I did that on the double century. See where I'm at right now in swimming and running. You were able to do that. So it's basically it's more of like that thought, where you're at and where are you at now, right? And then now, so the next thing, what I wanted to share to everyone, so for who else that actually just call in or start watching, hashtag live or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, anyone who actually relates to what Steve is sharing, we're in, maybe there's a lot more for me, right? And you start thinking, what else is there for me? Should I do it? Should I try? And then once you actually start trying, you realize, oh, there's more things out there besides what I was already doing. Because that's what actually Steve just said. All right. So now let's see. Let me share this one here. This was, and as I said, like I said, I was looking at the timeline of your training. Right. It's amazing. So you started the coaching on December 28th. Well, before even that, on October of just last year, when Steve was volunteering and actually told me, hey, I'm thinking about that training for triathlon. Oh, you want to train for triathlon? Wow. And then Denise, who was there also, who actually said, you got to see the doctor first.
Oh, the doctor.
Yeah. And I said, like,
the doctor.
Why, Denise? Because Steve is not telling me anything. The doctor said she needs foot surgery. Steve, you got to tell me that first.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you about the foot surgery.
So, yeah. So, the doctor told you need foot surgery. right? Just keep it short. Like what is that again? The thought process of you hearing it from your doctor, you need a foot surgery, but then there's this other, I want to do triathlon. It's like for normal quote unquote human being, it's not normal. However you're thinking, Steve. The doctor said this, and then but you're going here. Share us what happened. What went wrong or what went well on that thought process of yours, but still got you here where you're at right now. But tell us going back there first.
Well, let me just share. Every single person that is present today, right now, has heard advice from their doctor that has chosen to ignore that advice for many, many reasons. Okay, i.e. me. Yes, the doctor said you need foot surgery. You need to fix a certain thing about your foot. It's going to take about 6 to 8 weeks for recovery. And I said, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't want to miss out. That's right in the middle of summer. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe winter. But then, no, you know what? There's some really cool rides during the winter month. So part of me was just being rebellious, saying, you know what, doctor, I've lived with the pain for this long. I think I got it. I think I'm good, right? So you say I need surgery. I say, I just need, something else in order to get me through. And really, it was one of those things where I made the decision to keep moving forward and say, okay, if it really comes to a point where it's precluding, me from even moving, then yes, then I understand, because as I get older, I know that, eventually things will end up becoming an issue down the line. But I also thought about, you know what, I just need to get this done. And
which is triathlon or surgery?
Triathlon. Or just moving forward. Moving forward.
Okay.
I just didn't want to be down, and I said I can continue to live with the pain. And you know what? The interesting part about it is that once I started to become even more active, right, outside of cycling, the pain started to minimize, right? So part of it was a lot of arthritis pain that was there present, which I never really dealt with before. And now I have, and so part of it was, yes, it started based on being rebellious. And then it ended up being to a point where, I can now say, hey, I'm doing this. And, and down the line, if I need to see a doctor, then I'll see a doctor, but
right.
That's the approach.
Yeah. So, and then the next thing is that on December 28th, that's when you started coaching and I was looking at the timeline. I think that will be like about 2 weeks, January 13.
Right.
Your workout says, I need you need to swim 400 laps, 400 yards.
Right.
And you cannot do it. And actually you even said that, Coach, I actually have it here. Here. Oh, this is cool. Ha! I have it, everything recorded here.
Great.
All right. He said
always watching.
January 13. Steve could not do the full main set, so I did 2x200. First time swimming nonstop for this distance, which is 200. By the third lap of the fourth, I started to lose my form, and he was thrashing. So basically, at the time, January 13, only 2 weeks into the coaching, he couldn't finish even the 400. But guess what? What happened after that? Let me just run through all my notes here. Next thing is that on February, wow. All right, so let me see this one. Sorry. Okay. On February 24th, that's about 1 month into
Right.
coaching, you were able to complete 800, double of the distance that you couldn't finish last time.
Right.
Plus, your pace actually improved from 145 to 3 minutes per 100 yards to 205 minutes per 100 yards. That's only 2 months into training. That's amazing. I think you did put a lot of work. And what I wanted to show to you, one of the things, and Steve can add more. One of the things that he was doing a lot is actually he posts his workouts in the group. Every time he finished something, he will post a selfie just like this, saying, "Coach, I did this one first 3,000 yards." Orale. And actually, it actually helps out with the group also. Or not just that. Sometimes we would see him actually posting something at night. Okay, so like for example, was this one of the runs? Yeah, he was running at night. We will see it. Yeah, this one is in the morning. So there will be times when he's running at the track after work at night, and then suddenly we'll see another post next day. Coach, I finished swimming. It's like this guy just doesn't stop. And I could see that commitment there. And it really showed in terms of the commitment. So now in terms of swimming, also going back to first the swimming. So after that 2 months, 2 months after the coaching, that was actually when you took out that new wetsuit that you just got online and then wear it. And that was February 28th. That was exactly 2 months. And that was your first open water swim on a more flat in Bayshore.
Bayshore, right.
And I don't know if it was timing or not, but 3 months, just last Sunday, you went to the ocean. 3 months. It's like, again, March 28th.
Right.
And let's check out Steve. I thought this was fun. I actually put this one together. So this was Steve, his nice pose. So
very stoned, of course.
And then him going through that. Let's do that again with no music. But this is the athlete who came from zero and going through that ocean. And guess what? After that, he's like a kid on his own, swimming far there. That was Steve, just having fun. And that's Steve. All right. So that was actually just last Sunday. And I thought that was amazing. What did you feel, Steve?
I felt like a tamale at Christmas, let me tell you. Man, in that wetsuit, that very first time at Bayshore, it was hilarious. It just, I'm saying, wow, another first, right? Yes. Another many of first times, because during this journey of mine, I've had a lot of firsts, and most definitely, 3,000 yards.
That's a lot.
I don't understand. Sometimes my mind does not quite calculate on, oh, I did 3,000 yards. Okay, 3,000 yards is this much. And blah, blah. No, it's the way you feel, right? It's the way that you, okay. My biggest joy from coming from not being able to swim 400 yards to swimming 3,000 yards. And I think I did 2,000 yards plus this past Sunday in ocean water.
First time.
By the way, this past Sunday, there was a point that I said, you know what? It's funny because we as athletes are so single focused, right? I got to do this, man. I got to get my Garmin, if it didn't record on Garmin, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen, so all of those things. And I remember that I was in the water after doing the 2,000 yards, and I said, click, turn off.
Good.
Said, I'm going to enjoy this, right? Yeah. And that's what a lot of people sometimes don't understand. It's like, yeah, you train, but if you don't enjoy it,
yep,
what are you doing? you know, and I had to stand there because really, you know, with the wetsuit,
Yeah.
like, you're like floating, you're like, hey. So I had to stand there, and there was nobody else in the water, and it was just me and the ocean. And I said, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed the fact that I'm standing here in the middle of at the beginning of the ocean, and doing all of these things that I'm doing, right? So it gives you a renewal. It gives you
Mhm.
that revitalization that you need in order for you to keep pushing forward. Because again, 3,000 yards was like, oh, okay, 3,000 yards. It was in a pool. Oh, okay. You know, but the biggest thing and the biggest joy that I got out of it is I learned how to breathe, right?
Yeah.
That was the most important thing out of it. You know, not the fact that I'm doing all these drills,
Yep.
you know, doggy paddle and what's the other one?
Side
Sculling,
kicking, yes.
and
Go.
side kicks and broken arrows, you know, terminology I would have never been using in 2020 and, you know, and beyond. And so, but at the same time, once you get it, right?
Mhm.
Once you become, you know, in that zone, whatever that zone is, and for me, the zone was, hey, I can breathe, right? And now I can breathe both sides. I can breathe, you know, I was more comfortable on one side, but I forced myself to breathe on
None,
the other.
none dominant.
And man, that involved a lot of swallowing pool water. That involved a lot of swallowing ocean water. You know, it's part of it, but I'm doing it, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm looking forward to continuing that journey
Good.
because really 3,000, 2,000, that's kind of like the beginning,
It's
right?
only a number.
It's only a number, really. It,
Yeah.
it really is. And so um, I go in it with the fact that I'm just very grateful, right?
Mhm.
If I approach things with a grateful heart of and the mindset of a grateful heart, then anything is possible. It
Yeah.
really is. You know, today, this morning, I got up. I don't want to get up. It's too early. I got up, got my butt out there, and I ran. I ran from my house all the way to the top of the tower in Turnbull Canyon without stopping.
Awesome.
I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
You know, and even though I'm not fast, you know what? I said I got to get this done. You know, and again, the feeling of gratefulness, right? I got up to the top and I said, you know, thank you, God. I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. You know, and what better? It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if that I, you know, ran X amount of time or what have you. In the grand scheme of things, you know, it's how hard you push yourself, right? You, nobody else is looking, you know, and
Mhm.
sure, you know, this does a really good job of you know of broadcasting it to the world and saying, hey, this is what I did. But the reality is that it starts with you. It starts with here, the fact that you can do it,
Yeah.
right? So
And also, I think it's also how enjoyable it is of what you're doing, how happy you are. It's not, and I remember you saying that, hey, I haven't really finished that 70.3, but I feel that I am a triathlete because you are being that triathlete already. I don't see any reason for someone to actually, "Oh, I gotta finish before I can call myself," because you are. It's the being you at the present right now. You even change your, correct me if I'm wrong, your lifestyle, the way you do things, just to actually incorporate the training. I'm sure that was one of the challenges, right? Because it's
most,
like three sports.
yeah, most definitely
Yeah.
three sports, and the fact that uh you got to be in bed early, right?
Mhm.
Because you're getting up at
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, I
Yeah.
can't do, 11:30, going out to the club. Well, you can't go out to the club right now, but still, you can go out. I mean, you can, but you're going to suffer, right? That much more. Um, so the reality is, it's a mindset, and it's a different mindset. But I wouldn't change this for the world now. I know what it's like to be sick and tired, and I got tired of being sick and tired, you know, and really the party life, that's what happens. You know, you get to the point where, you know, the days just kind of run into each other. The weekends run into each other. It's like, okay, yeah, all right. But here, every single day is a new adventure. Every single day, your heart's pumping, and it's something where you're willing to say, yeah, you know what, this is making me a better person.
Good.
You know, for my health, really.
Good.
And so I'm jazzed. I couldn't be more happy, you know, because this is the start, and I don't know where this is going to take me. You know what? I'm just kind of like floating, you know, in that river, you know, and sometimes you know, I want to be like the salmon and you know, and go upstream, right? And say, okay, man, you know, I need to get out of this river. But part of it is like, okay, enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah.
Take advantage of it now, because you know what? Health doesn't last forever. You know, I understand that. And so I'm having a blast right now. And I can really, you know, all of you that are listening or watching this, use my example as a way for you to say, I can, you know. A fellow athlete of mine has a motto saying, why not me? It's true. Why not you?
Yep.
Look at me. You know, here is a ex Harley Davidson, you know, party going, cigar smoking, beer drinking, you know, rocker, that really was able to turn it around and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still rocking out, but I'm rocking out, you know,
and doing more.
and doing more. Like, I'll be rocking out tonight, as a matter of
fact.
There you go. I have rehearsal. I have band rehearsal.
Well, there you go. So. Well, before we end this live video, I wanted to ask you, Steve, how about give us like 3 top things that you can advise our viewers beside what you just said just now? You know, what are the other 3 things, you know, what has helped you in this journey, both double century, your sports, keeping track, or your triathlon? So that's one. What has helped you, and what can you actually advise to our viewers right now that would help them? Those people who just like you, how you were starting.
Okay, so number 1, surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people that are going to be able to encourage, that are going to be able to push you. Because if you're hanging out with people that all they want to do is to, you know, gossip, or to, you know, just to hang out and party, and, you know, and not do things that are going to be able to uplift themselves, you know, whether it's, you know, being an athlete, or whether it's, you know, at work or what have you. But like-minded people, grab hold of individuals that are going to push you. And that's the reality, that's going to push you to become a better person. I have those people in my life, and I'm very grateful for all of those people in my life, because they've made me a better person. So that's number 1. Number 2, mindset. Mindset is everything. You know, people say, hey, I'm motivated. Hey, I'm going to do this. The reality is motivation lasts this long. You know, you can get motivated to do something, but really it's till you get off the couch and do the work that it's going to, you know, it's going to matter. So, and understand and know that it takes patience. I still struggle right now because of the fact that I see others, right, that are over here, and I'm here in my head. But the reality is, it's not a race against them. It really isn't. You should not be comparing yourself. But we as human beings have the ability, or have the part of it is just to be able to say, oh, I'm comparing myself to all these other people. The reality is that that's not the case. So number two is to be able to have that mindset, to be able to push through. And number three, the thing that I would probably tell you to do is that it's possible. It really is. Anything is possible. For whatever your reasons, whether they're personal reasons, of what you've gone through before in your life, there is a way to work through that. There really is. We all have that dark passenger that lives within us. And I know I do. All you see here is, the guy that's orale, the guy that's, really nice. But at the same time, there are things that we as individuals have as things that prevent us from moving forward. And we can equate that into the fact that it's, here, obviously what we're talking about, triathlons or being active, but also in life general. So that third thing is for you to keep pushing forward and to never accept becoming complacent.
Yep.
We have the ability to be complacent because why? It's easy. It's easy to just say, you know what, I'm going to stay in today. I'm not feeling it. And, it's those people that say, yeah, you know what, I'm still not feeling it, but I'm going to do it. Right. And I'm not going to tell you, I would be a complete hypocrite to tell you that I feel it every single day. I'm pumped and get things going. There are days that, there are times that you're going to be pushed because things don't always go your way, obviously, or our way, right? Mm-hmm. Motivation is great when everything is beautiful and, everything, all the bills are paid and and the dogs are fed and walked and, and everything is in perfect working order. But when things are in shambles, that's when you're tested, right? And that's when you need to push. And I am trying my hardest to be able to do that every single day of my life. Understanding that it's a process, understanding that it's a mindset, and that I'm going to fall. I'm going to make mistakes. But you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep moving forward.
Good stuff. Thank you, Steve. That was amazing. You guys taking notes? Because those are good things. And just to follow up with what Steve said, I myself, someone who actually finished the most Ironman distance in 34 days last year, I finished 23 not back to back, but 23 140.6 triathlon in 34 days. Guess what? I feel the same thing.
Yep. Because
it's not perfect and things may go wrong, up and down, but then it really is up to us how we can deal with that on when it actually comes. And the way I actually coach a lot of athletes is like, when things are harder, see that as an opportunity to learn from it. Because if everything's all good, it's like, okay, you always expect everything's good. There's no excitement. There's no learning processes. Everything's good. But then if something goes wrong, see it as an opportunity. And it actually makes it more colorful, interesting life, I think. But of course, it can be hard, but it's just the way life is. I really appreciate everything that you've shared, Steve. And you being just giving and, wanting to have all our viewers to actually learn from you. So now, if you want to follow Steve's journey of what else is coming up besides 70.3, because I know there's a lot more that's coming up, or just basically have a laugh, watch him do his bands, you can follow him, add him in Facebook, or just message him or comment down below on our Facebook group, Ironman Beyond, or invite your friends to actually watch him, but on this video. But anything else you have questions from Steve, feel free to actually just put the comments below. He's very nice. he will help you, because that's basically.
Most definitely.
Tell me, Steve, does it make you happy of the just sharing these things of your experience? What does it, what is it that you want? Why are you doing this? Like sharing
Why am
your
I doing this?
experience?
It's funny. I was thinking about that right before this whole thing. And I know that obviously the focus right now is on a human being, right? It's on me right now. But it could be somebody else later, right? It could be whoever is going to take this seat. But the reason for me doing this is that if I could be that much of help to someone,
Yeah.
right? We're all put on this earth to be able to hopefully help others, right? And to be able to help them either physically or to be able to help them with our words. Our words are so very powerful, and we have to understand that is reality, right? The things that you say, the things, because you can say something, right, and somebody will take it a certain way, or another person will take it another. So, but my whole thing is, if I can be, and really, there are so many other people in life that have gone through so many other things, so many other hardships, success stories and things like that, where, if you can get something out of my story and out of my experience, and I can be of assistance to anyone, then right there, it's worth it for me. 110%. If I can help someone who's feeling, you know what, I just don't get it. I'm not feeling it. Why am I doing this? Why am I not doing this? Why me? Right? And really, and the whole reality is that you need to pick yourself up. And if I can be a small part of that, then that's great. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be that, because sharing about our goals and sharing about our breakthroughs, it's great, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if I can be of that little inspiration, it's all worth it for me.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Okay, everyone, we're gonna end this live call, but Steve will always be around there, so you guys can still catch up, Steve. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, Steve, and keep it up with all the good work, everything that you're doing. All right, Steve, we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.